Hey, welcome back to Business as a Magical Practice. So happy that you're here, and we're continuing along on our Regenerative Business series. So, in these next 3 episodes, we're going to be featuring our hot snippets from the Regenerative Business Masterclass, which happened on June 13th with Simone Seol. And this whole training, the Regenerative Business Masterclass, is around turning on your faucet for creativity, which is so fun. And it really is featuring the topic of regenerative death. And we're not talking about green funerals. We're talking about how to let go of, release, burn, kill the ideas or offers or identities that are within yourself and within your business so that you can have a thriving, alive business. And Simone is such a perfect guest and co-host for this because if you are familiar with her online, she is insanely prolific with her writing, with her ideas, and like 24/7, week after week, year after year. So she's really coming in with her own perspective of this. I'm bringing the regenerative business perspective on this. And to have a really vibrant life, I really think that being tapped in and turned on with your creativity is such an important element. And it really makes business flow so much more easily and feel so much more abundant. And yes, even if you are someone who you're like, I am already too creative, I actually need less ideas. We actually talk about how to do this because me and Simone are exactly the same way, where we have turned on the faucet of creativity. So now you have to deal with the aftermath of so much creative flow that you actually have to kill off parts of yourself, parts of your business, so that everything functions smoothly and is composted into fertility. So let's jump in.
One thing that Sam and I were talking about is how, as a culture, we're so death phobic, and we are afraid of and suspicious of any ends, any process of dying or death or what happens after death. We live in a culture that is very sanitized from all of that. And so we had been taught to fear it. And I fear it too, because I'm part of this culture. But what Sam was reminding me of is that death is, and that is a very sort of modern Western perspective, that death is scary and bad. We have to put it over there so we don't have to look at it. And I think indigenous cultures all over the world have really embraced death as a natural part of life, and death being something that not only paves the space, but actively fertilizes new being. And so I really invite you to have this imagery of a circle in mind, right? A circle of life, right? There's life, and then life happens, and then it inches towards death, and there's death, and then there's fertilization, composting, which creates new life. And when that cycle gets interrupted and it's stuck and death is the end and there's no life coming out of it, and then it just creates toxic fumes. And I'm reiterating what she said, but it's a whole worldview shift from wanting to avoid death and ends to embracing and creatively, strategically, even utilizing the principles of dying and ending and decaying and composting in order to make room for more, better, more aligned, more alive everything.
Well, what that's making me think of is it's such a good reflection of like trauma being held in the body, or like working with the shadow, where it's like there's something that's stuck within you. So it's like it doesn't actually allow you to move forward and to thrive, because there's a part of you that is stuck and stagnant and trying to work through something that can't be worked through until you actually face it. So that happens in our businesses too.
I'm not saying this in a way where I'm pointing fingers at people. It's the culture. We've been taught to look at our business this way. We've never been offered an alternative right? This is business as usual. This is quote unquote best practice. This is what quote unquote experts are doing and teaching us to do, which is to extract from our bodies, extract from our energy and life force, extract from our time, and extract other people's, time and money and life force, so that you can produce, create more value, create more content, create more and then we distribute it as widely as possible to as many people as possible, right? That's literally what we've been taught, right? So that
this is scaling, right?
That's scaling, right? And then people consume all of it, and then what happens afterwards, right? It's just the after is never talked about, because we live in a culture of consume and dispose and forget about it, because we put it quote unquote away, except there is no away, because it's all still there creating noxious fumes. And so I hope we can look at this and identify where this kind of exists in our business without it turning into like personal guilt and shame and blame, because the system has given you very, very few options to opt out. And it's given you very few options until now to be even able to see that this is something that we're participating in. So if your heart is hurting about this, I hope you can, the invitation is for you to channel that energy towards changing the system and being mindful of the system, as opposed to, oh, I did this bad, or so-and-so did this bad, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, and like, if this is your only example of how business works, then of course you're going to subconsciously design your business this way, because that's what everyone does. That's the only example.
Okay, so I know that you enjoyed that. And that was a small little snippet from the Regenerative Business Masterclass. I'll be back next week with another highlight from the entire 2-hour presentation and training. And we actually do a regenerative death ceremony and ritual, live group ritual within that. So if you want access to that, you can go to thedirtyalchemy.com/masterclass and for free access and instant access to that entire training and ritual. So go on and do that, and I'll see you soon.